What's up, guys? Welcome to Operation B, the podcast. I am your host, Jamie Thurber, and I am here to take you on a journey of deepening, of expansion, of understanding more about who you are and why you're here and how to operate in an optimal way that allows you to do what you want to do, feel how you want to feel, take care of yourself truly, and support everything that your heart desires. What's up, guys? Welcome back to this week's episode of Operation B. This is Jamie, your host, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a great day. So today, I want to talk about something actually that was brought to my attention by somebody who's become quite essential in my well-being, and he's my chiropractor, actually, Dr. Jason Hammond, and he has this great, you guys should follow him online. I'll link him below. He has this great ability to explain complex things in a way that's easier to understand, but also then put it into like a real life way to digest it into your own world. But I've been seeing him for a couple of years, and when we started working together, my spine was literally like a zigzag line. And it was funny because nobody in the world that I had seen over all the years could figure out why I was in so much pain. They would do MRIs of my thoracic spine, which is the middle of your spine. Then we would do of my lower spine. We would look at my shoulder blades. We'd look at my collarbone. We did all these things, right? And no one could ever figure out what was wrong, why it hurt. It hurt less when I was lifting weights, typically, like my shoulders did. Anyway, needless to say, I go see Dr. J, and his approach is to look at your entire body. Imagine that! What a brilliant thing to do, because everything works together. So they x-ray you from your whole entire spine, and it went like literally a zigzag. Pretty bad. My neck was curving the wrong direction. It was not good. So needless to say, Dr. J has been lucrative for my experience in life. He's also been helping my family members too. My brother is who recommended him. My brother's the kind of guy who doesn't talk just for the sake of talking. So if he's telling you about something or someone, there's a good reason, and you should listen, in my opinion. So I did. And anyway, I didn't necessarily need to tell you that whole backstory, but there it is. There was just this very simple statement that he put on one of his reels that I saw that knocked me back in my chair, mainly because I already know this because I do it in my own life, but it was a good moment for me as far as how I'm explaining things to clients and honestly to my dad. Like it was the biggest eye-opener for me with my parents, but mainly my father, who is very stubborn and dealing with a lot of health things that he is just not been willing to do much about because it's hard. And in Dr. Jason's reel, he basically explained it's all hard. You have to choose your hard. Do you do the hard that's now and actually getting up and stretching and walking and eating the good food and drinking enough water and blah, blah, blah? Do you do that version of hard? Or do you do the hard that's sitting in the mess, that's sitting in the pain, that's sitting in the crunchiness, that's sitting in the inability to function? Do you do that hard? Or do you do the hard that is the things that are necessary to get you better? And unfortunately, the majority of us choose the hard that is doing none of the things to improve our lives. We feel hopeless. We feel stuck. We feel like there's no way to feel better. We feel like there's no way to get to the other side. We feel like it's too hard and it's just not possible and this is just my reality. And that's what I got to deal with. And oftentimes, unfortunately, it's a very, very common conversation that I have with people. That's what they're being told by doctors. Trust me, I know this. I've been there. So that's the fact that they're being told by doctors. And in our society, we're told to put doctors on this beautiful pedestal which don't get me wrong, I think they're incredible and they go to tons of school and I'm glad we have them. And we put them on this pedestal where often people in America specifically like doesn't question a thing their doctor says. Like if the doctor says it, they take it to be 100% accurate and they move and it's like written in stone and that's that. God forbid if I would have ever taken that, I wouldn't probably be here anymore if I would have just accepted what doctors said to me all these years. What many doctors said to me, I should say. But the whole concept of choose your hard. Yes, you can put this, and it's easy for me to, obviously, because it's my own health. It's also me dealing with the health of my parents and them being, dealing with difficult things. Like my mom has one knee replaced, the other one needs to be replaced. She's got back problems. Her hip is off, like all this stuff, and she tries so hard and she does so well, and it's hard. And she chooses the same heart that I do. She chooses the heart that allows you to keep going because she truly believes that on the other side of it all, she'll feel better if she does the right stuff. Now, there are times that it feels very hopeless. Like, I want everybody to understand this. When I say choose your hard, I mean choose your freaking hard, right? Like, it is very difficult not only to stay committed and do the things, but also to keep faith that there is a space on the other side because it's so much easier to believe that this is just it. It's really difficult to believe that you have the power to change your life and your experience and how you feel. And there really is a lot of mind over matter pieces to it. It's a lot of mindset. That's why, like, no matter what people come to me for as a coach, is always there's always a big mindset component because I could hand you the most perfect program. I could hand you the most perfect whatever, and it's not going to work or you're not going to make money at it if your brain isn't in the right place, if you don't believe it's possible, if your head's not in the game, your heart's not in it. It just doesn't work. I've seen it time and time again. And if it does, it's brief. It's short-lived. So, just the other day I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who was like, I'm doing this plan and I'm so excited and it's going to be 75 days. And so I was like, oh, is it 75 hard? Which if you don't know about that, it's like a program that First Form created that's become very popular. And it's not that I don't think 75 hard is great. I think it's changed a lot of lives. And I think that having timelines like that on our lifestyle changes or the healthy habits is counterproductive. Because I think that, say you want to cut out alcohol. That's one of the things on the program. You want to cut out alcohol for 75 days. That's amazing. And if you're not in a headspace where you're like, I don't ever want to drink again, and you want to give it a time frame, or like, people do dry January or whatever it is, cool. But as far as healthy habits go, like walking and stretching and working out every day or moving your body every day, drinking enough water, eating food, taking supplements, eating healthy food, I should say, those are like having a sleep routine, having a morning routine, having a gratitude practice. If those things are not lifestyle changes, they're not going to be, there's no longevity attached. It's often not sustainable. It's often kind of like we're playing a trick on ourselves, and that's why you see people yo-yo so much. And what people don't realize is the yo-yo effect of what we do to our bodies, we also do to our minds, and we also do to our self-esteem and our ability to believe in ourselves. And that's why often you see people say, I'm going to lose X amount of weight before my wedding or before my trip out of town or whatever, because I'm going to be in a bikini and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, great, that's amazing. And then they work their asses off and they look so great. They look at it all as a sacrifice, which is a terrible way to look at anything like that if you want to have lasting change. And they go on their vacation and they wear their bikini, and then 2 months later they're back to the weight they were before, and they're not happy with themselves, and then they're mad, and then and it takes multiple months before their head gets back into the place where they're like, I can't do this anymore, and now I have to do this program again. I'm gonna do it for 60 days and lose X amount of weight, and then the cycle fucking continues. And you take yourself up and down this yo-yo, and it's hell on your nervous system. It's hell on your metabolism. It's so bad for your mindset and your self-esteem and your ability to believe yourself when you say you're going to do something. It also allows us to live in this place of like not enough all the time, where instead, like, what if you realized that you deserved to eat good food and to sleep a sufficient amount and to stretch your muscles and to move them every day because that's what they need, and to hydrate your body so all of your organs can work properly and your stomach can digest food and you can sleep better because you're hydrated and you can do all of these lovely things. What if you looked at all those things that you put into your 60-day plan so you can look hot in a swimsuit into, my body deserves that and I'm worthy of being healthy and feeling well every single day? We have a lot of propaganda is what I'm going to call it, because it's really what it is. It's a tactic to make money and to keep people sick and to keep them in this headspace, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But there's a lot of marketing around waiting until Friday to have a drink, or gosh, it's Friday, it's the weekend, or wow, I can't wait to have a beer when I get off work because it's going to make me feel so much better. Even before I quit drinking, like I was never a huge drinker. I never agreed with me very well. My friend Chrissy used to describe me as a firecracker. She was like, you would literally, or a bottle rocket. She was like, it would be great. You'd go all the way to the top. You'd have a lot of fun, and then you'd fizzle out real fast. Yeah, that's what happened. But I used to, even when I would, partake in alcoholic beverages and stuff, like, I would always ask people that, because I was never the kind of person who was like, man, it was such a shitty day, I want to go have a drink. It never made me feel better, because it's a depressant. It doesn't make you feel better. That's a freaking bullshit scenario that someone's put into your head and convinced you of. It doesn't make you feel better. Friends, please be smarter than that. You wouldn't believe how many conversations I have with people who don't realize that alcohol, the effect that alcohol has on your brain, lasts for a minimum of 4 days. So if you're having a drink on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you don't drink during the week, so you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, your brain has not started functioning at its normal capacity again, which is basically when it's creating the happy hormones and things that you need to not feel depressed, hasn't started doing that again and then the day that it would start doing that again, and you start drinking again. It's like you're literally never giving your body a chance to feel better, to do what it really needs to do. You're keeping it into that cycle, and it is a tragic thing, unfortunately. We live in a world where everybody's so depressed and they don't understand why, and that's a really big factor for adults. Like, it is, and people don't talk about it because it's cool. It's super cool, to drink, and everything in America revolves around alcohol. Like, it just does. It's interesting when you stop drinking how people find it so offensive. People are dramatically offended by the fact that I don't drink. Like, it makes them wildly uncomfortable. So my father has never drank alcohol. It's never been his jam. When I say never, I mean he did when he was a teenager. He told me, he was like, I literally stopped drinking like right after my 21st birthday. Like, it just was never his thing. And so when I stopped drinking, it was funny because I was like, Dad, does everybody feel, and he like interrupted me. He was like they need to ask you why you're not drinking, and like they get super weird about it. I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh yeah, for many years when him and my mom were young and they would go out to bars and stuff, he would buy a beer. And back then everybody took koozies to the bar. He'd put it in a koozie and he'd just hold it. Because if he held it, then nobody would bullshit him or give him shit about it. And then he didn't have to answer everybody's questions. So yeah, alcohol is like the only drug in America that you have to explain to people why you're not consuming it or partaking. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we've gotten a little off topic. My point is that what if you realized that your body and your mindset and your ability to live the fullest, most present and active and vibrant version of life, what if you acknowledged that you deserved that all the time? And it didn't have to be a treat that you did or a burden that you put on yourself so that you can look hot for a vacation. Like, what if that was your motivator? Maybe it was like, for example, I'm going to use skincare as an example right now. I'm going to tell you guys one day, I'm going to tell you all about my acne healing journey because I think it's interesting, and I wish somebody would have made a video about it back in the day when I was dealing with adult acne. But needless to say, it's been, knock on wood, 5 years maybe that I've gotten it under control and kept it under control. But I'm getting married in 2026. So I bought all the things to up my skincare. Well, I've always been like a skincare girly for sure. I've always had a big routine. I've always spent money on my skin. But I wanted to up it because a lot of brides do that, right? There's literally like websites and articles and packages you can buy at the med spa for getting your skin like wedding ready. So basically, guys, if you don't know this, women want to get their skin as like moisturized and dewy and minimal pores and minimal wrinkles and like all these things before their wedding because like that's one of your most photographed days of your life, okay? So it was funny because I'm like, you know what? And I talked to you guys about this in another episode where I was like, I really am not doing anything to prepare for my wedding because I can't physically right now. And that was a bummer. So one thing I knew I could do was up my skincare game. And so in my brain, I was like, yeah, for my wedding, I'm going to up. And I sat there and I was like, why wouldn't you just do this every day anyways? Like the couple extra things I added. It's relaxing. There's this really cool solo wand. I'll link it below. Like I'm not an affiliate by any means, but it's freaking great. And it's like warm and it bends so you can like do your under eyes. So at night I sit in bed and do it. Oh, it's so relaxing. Anyway, it's actually helping my under eyes. I was born with bags under my eyes. My aunt and I have had this conversation a million times. It's like a family trait or something. But anyway, that's the concept, right? Where I'm like, why would I not just do this to myself every single day? Like I look at myself in the mirror every day. I deserve to love my skin. Hello? You know what I mean? It's like ridiculous that we do this. And so I changed my mindset and was like, no, this is just the new norm. To where as if like for me not drinking caffeine or not drinking alcohol, it's like, this isn't a, fluke. This is the new norm because I give a shit about my body. Like when I first found out, one of the first tests I got taken where somebody actually found out something that was wrong with me, it was January actually of last year. So it was about a year ago. And it basically was very clear on the test results that my adrenal glands were just completely maxed out. They were shot. They needed a huge break. They needed all the things. So I immediately quit drinking caffeine. And I'm a coffee girl, y'all know. So I drink a fake coffee, Dandy blend. I'm not trying to tell you all the things. Apparently today I'm going to tell you about all my fun things that I found. But it's dandelion and chicory root, and it's delicious. And everybody thinks I'm weird until I make them a cup of it, and they're like, holy shit, this is better than coffee. I'm like, dude, I already know. There's a lot of health benefits to both of those roots as well. So it's, it's an equal opportunity product with no caffeine. But I faked myself out. I make it like my coffee in the morning. I call it my coffee because that's what it is to me. But it's not caffeine. Because in my mind, I thought, wow, how big of a dick move would it be to my own body, to my adrenal glands who are suffering for me to consume caffeine? I just could not. It's one of those things like once you know, you don't unknow. I can't do that. So that's the place where, back to our topic, like you choose your hard. Now, was it difficult for me to quit drinking caffeine? No, it wasn't actually. Like, I think I had a headache for a few days and then it was over. But I occasionally, like if I'm out somewhere, I'll get a cappuccino or something like that, but it doesn't even affect me. And that's just recently. Like I went 10 months, not 11 months with like zero caffeine at all. So anyway, that might have been something that other people would find really difficult, but for me, it didn't feel hard. It felt more hard for me to keep doing that to my body, which would then require more work for me to fix it, the damage it was doing. Do you understand? Like, are you guys seeing where I'm coming from with this? You choose your hard. Both sides of the coin are not easy, especially at first. You choose your hard to get healthy, or you choose your hard to stay unhealthy. Both are not simple. The thing is eventually you either die or you have to do something about being unhealthy, which is hard. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. The nice part is once you get through the process of getting healthy, if you make that a lifestyle change, it doesn't continue to be hard. You just find other things that are hard and you choose those and, sort it out. But that's really the concept. When it says choose your hard, that's what I mean, and that's what he meant. Like, his thing was specifically to people that have a really difficult time getting around. Because one of the things that Dr. Jason's practice does is it holds you accountable. Like, you don't just go. That's why I think it works so well for me and my brother too. You don't just go and they're like, oh, we're going to fix you and then send you home. You go and they're like, this is the regimen, but this is the part you have to do if you want this to work. They're not claiming to be the fixer of all the things. They're claiming they've created a program that requires you to see them for them to do their part. And then there's a part you have to do at home and in your lifestyle changes in order for it all to work together and my spine to go straight. It's been 6 months since my last x-ray, and I get my x-rays again soon, and I can't wait to see how much better it's even gotten, because it got so much better over it was a year and a half, I guess. Anyways, super, super amazing. So within that, though, with what they do is they're saying, when he's saying you choose your hard where you can barely get around, or you're in constant pain, which creates a lot of other problems, and it's really, really freaking hard. Or you choose your hard, which is starting something new, taking a chance, betting on yourself, moving your body in ways that might be a little uncomfortable or that you're not used to doing. But that hard gets easier. And the fruits of that labor are amazing. The fruits of the labor of you doing nothing are fucking rotten, nasty fruits that make you sick than you already are. But we don't look at it that way. We look at it as taking the easy way out. I'm like, no, it's definitely not. It's you just got to look at it in a way of like, to me, my time means a lot. Maybe this will resonate with some of you. My time means a lot to me. I don't have an abundance of time. None of us do. We can't make more time. It's not a thing. There's however many hours the sun takes us through every day, and that's that. And that, how I'm spending my energy, especially when my body decided to shut me down real hard, I had to get really, really intentional with how I spent my physical energy in a way that I didn't know I was possible. And it's been so hard. And I know that because I've stuck with this crazy, shitty program that everyone around me looks at me and goes, wow, I can't believe you're not better yet. Wow, I can't believe you're still doing that. I'm like, yeah, because the majority of people would not stay committed to this process, unfortunately. And that's not dogging anyone. That's just the reality, statistics. I'm not choosing to spend the rest of my life this way. Now, if I get to the other side of these protocols and I still feel like garbage, we're going to go with the Mayo Clinic. That's my next stop, because I refuse to accept that this is how I'm supposed to just feel. My robot thought I said her name. So anyway, I love Alexa. So maybe you don't, but I do. Anyway, that's where I'm at, you guys. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you found some nuggets of truth in there, maybe some motivation to choose your hard in a good way, one that's going to really be worth it in the end, one that's really going to transform. You have to remember the ripple effect, and there's a whole episode about the ripple effect in the Lifestyle Creation podcast side of this podcast. If you scroll down, you'll see the ripple effect. We'll actually link it below. We'll do that. Where I speak directly and specifically only about the ripple effect that happens from one action. Every single action you take, whether it's you stay hydrated, there's a ton of ripple effects of great benefits. If you're dehydrated, there's a ton of ripple effects of shitty reactions for that. So there's such an effect on every choice that we make. And so if you want to continue this conversation of choose your heart and you're really wanting to sink it in a little bit better of how you can do that and how you can really put weight on these small decisions in a way that can be motivating to stick with them, check out that other episode because I think it'll help really sink it in even more. But I think I've made my point today. So as always, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone that you love or someone that you think may benefit from it. Put it on your socials. That would be great. If you do, tag me. I would love to see that. And if you have not yet already, please leave us a review. And until next time, friends, see ya. Thank you for listening to Operation B, the podcast. To support this message and to support the show, please make sure that you like, follow, and share the podcast wherever you enjoy listening. And be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.